From a beloved celebrity to the biggest meme on the Chinese internet, foundation general, foundation first, fight later. Hello to all pore scanning experts, powder quality assessors, and anyone obsessed with flawless skin. Today we need to talk about Zhang Linghe, who's going viral for looking too perfect in all the wrong places. Now look, if you showed up to a wedding with heavy foundation and 10 layers of beauty filters, nobody would say anything. But showing up to a battlefield like that? That's why he's getting roasted online. Even officials aren't too happy about it. It makes Chinese warriors look weak and overly polished, instead of strong, masculine, and battle-ready on the global stage.
不好意思
Even if you haven't watched the trending Cdrama Pursuit of Jade, you've probably seen some viral clips from the show on social media featuring General Xie Zheng, a man who should be covered in sweat, dirt, exhaustion, but instead appears like a model for some high-end cosmetic brands. People were genuinely confused watching this. On a brutal battlefield, blood may flow, heads may fall, but the general's foundation must never budge. Soldiers are fighting for their lives, and yet his foundation is still flawless, not a single crack. There's one scene that really blew up. He's riding into battle with arrows flying around him, and he looks completely calm, almost like he's walking a runway. His skin is paler than Snow White's, his lips look freshly painted, and people aren't buying it. Honestly, it's one of the most illogical and unrealistic scenes in the entire drama. A full get ready with me before war video. Cleanser, serum, sunscreen, foundation, setting spray, and go fight. If fans are watching the drama, normal people like me are just enjoying the jokes and memes. There's a certain feeling people expect from a character like this. A war general is supposed to feel dangerous, experienced, someone who's actually been through battles. But when the character looks like he's wearing full studio makeup, it turns insane scenes into something unintentionally funny. Even when it's meant to be serious, people stop taking it seriously, pressing him non-stops everywhere from Douyin to Xiaohongshu, and now I'm bringing him to YouTube. I read a lot of comments. They were brutal but also kind of hilarious. The battle can be lost, but the foundation must survive. Does anyone have backup concealer for the general? Wakes up at 4 AM to do a makeup before a 6 AM battle? Things got even messier when the show's performance numbers started rising unusually fast, and people began questioning whether the data was actually real or being boosted. The discussion has also drawn responses from Chinese state media. An official account said that the character's armor, makeup, and relaxed vibe don't really match what a soldier should look like, making it feel out of place, and even risking misunderstandings of Chinese culture among international viewers. And once government-affiliated media criticized it, other outlets were far less likely to praise it. Some fans argue it's a romance drama, it's supposed to be idealized, and a clean, good-looking general is part of that fantasy. Fans are still eating this up, binge-watching day and night until they've got designer dark circles. But others push back, saying even in entertainment, there still needs to be some basic logic. If it's a war setting, it should be at least feel believable. Just making memes about him, because he's become so iconic with that pheasant feather hat. The hat may not offer much protection, but it definitely looks iconic.
就这样
Oh my god!
The pheasant feather hat is now being sold on Taobao for over around 100 yuan. You can even get one for your cat, around 15 yuan, or 58 yuan if you want a luxury version. So for anyone who doesn't know him, Zhang Linghe is a rising Chinese star born in 1997, and interestingly enough, he didn't even start out in acting. His background was actually in engineering. He only got into the industry a few years ago and blew up pretty quickly, mostly because of his outstanding height and that very clean, perfect-looking image you can see in a lot of historical dramas and young girls' fantasy. Before becoming a star, he used to be way heavier, like close to 100 kg, and then dropped the weight pretty fast to fit the roles. So yeah, his whole image right now is pretty much built around that transformation. Not sure if he's just that light, or if the girl is so strong that she could carry him around like a sack of rice. A well-known Malaysian cosmetic doctor pointed out that his facial proportions are almost perfect, but also thinks that there may have been a few subtle, non-invasive touch-ups like collagen treatments, skin tightening, Botox, or even dental work. Zhang Linghe's real appearance is a huge disappointment. He seems not to live without skin smoothing filters and beauty apps. Some people think he only looks good when he's not smiling or not showing too much emotions. When he smiles widely, the lines around his eyes and cheeks become more visible, creating less flattering moments. In the industry, he's sometimes mentioned as one of the few visual actors whose smile doesn't always match with the polished image people expect. Even though when he's not yet 30, some viewers feel his skin doesn't look as firm, with signs of early aging. In real-life photos from events, people notice skin texture, pores, wrinkles, normal human features, and in unedited photos, his skin can look less refined, with some signs of aging. Quite different from the flawless images released by the studios. I think he's pretty handsome.
Huh?
Someone else is randomly winning. Out of nowhere, Peter Holt starts trending again. Old clips get reposted. People praising his intensity, his presence, and the way he actually feels like a general. No new drama, no promotion, nothing planned. The internet just suddenly decided, yeah, this is what a war general is supposed to look like. He's gained millions of followers on Douyin. Now in his 50s, he mostly takes on small roles and focuses on staying fit. In 2025, he went viral for a short scene in The Prisoner of Beauty, where he showed off his physique. Just look at his mouth-watering muscle and tell me how incredible he looks in his age. Zhang Linghe's acting can feel pretty one-note. He's great in those cool CEO-type roles. But when it comes to deeper emotions, he tends to look a bit stiff. Just look at how Wallen's whore gets angry. It's explosive. He's shouting and spitting like a broken shower head, just spraying everywhere. And he's not afraid of looking ugly on screen. But when Zhang Linghe gets angry, it feels controlled, almost like he's holding back. And that's why more and more people are saying he's relying more on his looks to become famous.
不是给他下迷药了吗？
Then it got even more awkward when people found an old interview when Zhang Linghe said that being too good-looking can hurt an actor because audiences focus on appearance rather than acting ability, and even brought up Leonardo DiCaprio as an example, suggesting it wasn't until The Revenant that people really recognized his acting. That didn't go down well at all. People were quick to point out that DiCaprio had already proven himself years before with films like Titanic, Inception, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Shutter Island. His late Oscar win doesn't really mean he wasn't recognized. It just means he didn't have the luck with the awards earlier, like not having much luck with dating women over 25 years old. So when that comparison came up, a lot of people felt it sounded out of touch, and some even joked that his acting isn't convincing enough to blame his good looks. I think he might act badly, but at least he's confident.
今天我太好看了。What?
In a short period of time, Zhang Linghe quickly gained global attention thanks to a constant stream of dramas. Before the Foundation General nickname, he was already known among international audiences, but not for the best reason. During a variety show, he was joking around while looking at a drawing of himself, and casually said it made him look like he was from Southeast Asia. People in the studio laughed it off, but once that clip hit social media, viewers from countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, and the Philippines didn't see it as a harmless joke. To them, it came across like he was implying that looking Southeast Asian meant looking worse or ugly. Many fans felt the statement was tactless and carried racial undertones. It quickly turned into a full-on cross-country controversy. He later posted an apology on his Instagram with over 4 million followers, saying he didn't mean to offend anyone and that he respects all cultures. But it didn't really land, partly because it sounded very genetic, and partly because it was buried in the comments instead of being a proper post. So instead of calming things down, it actually made people question his sincerity even more. When people hear Southeast Asian look, they think it's a downgrade, like darker skin, shorter height, or less attractive features. Well, I'm giving you these 4 guys that are all naturally good looking and none of them need heavy features or unrealistic makeup. Even if you think any of them is not attractive, it means he's just not your type. But to a lot of girls, he's actually the exact dream guy. Because beauty is very subjective, just like the criteria for the Miss Universe competition don't often lean towards the traditional elegant beauty of Chinese women, but rather towards the healthy, confident, energetic style of Filipino women. But that doesn't mean one group of women is more beautiful than another. And honestly, I don't think this is something we should blame on him 100%. It says more about the current Cdrama industry, where a lot of productions lean heavily on makeup, filters, and perfect visuals to cover what might be lacking underneath. There's clearly pressure to look a certain way to fit that polished image, and you see it in every new drama now. perfect lighting, perfect skin, but then the character itself can start to feel a little bit empty, like the focus is more on how they look than who they are. It's much easier to create a good-looking character than the well-acted one. To be fair, his styling in the drama is largely a production choice, shaped by what they think the current audiences prefer. Does anyone else kind of miss the old days, when actors appeared on screen with little to no filters, just raw and real? Actors like Nicholas Tse and Louis Koo even pushed for minimal makeup, just to keep that authentic feel on screen. But then again, tastes evolve over time, don't they? So in the end, it comes down to a very simple question. What do people actually want to watch? A perfect face or a believable character? Because sometimes imperfection is exactly what makes a role feel real. So what do you think? Would you rather watch a polished face with makeup and filters, or someone who looks more real, scars, acne and all? Let me make it simple. Would you prefer Zhang Linghe or Peter Ho?
我喜欢第二个，一这种太老气了，选二吧。
二吧，我是一个比较看重那个颜值的人，
选二，因为他帅啊。
二啊，白啊，
肯定选二啊。
第二个。